Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Minh Tuấn and here's the headlines. President Tô Lâm lauds outstanding prestigious people. Ministry of National Defense leader meets news and press agencies. A visually impaired youngster heals through music. President Tô Lâm presented gifts to over 100 outstanding prestigious people from ethnic communities at a meeting in Hanoi on June the 14th. They are participants in the second edition of the Pillars of the Village program, jointly held by the Communist Review, the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee, and the Border Guard Command. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Minister of National Defense, attended the meeting. At the meeting, President Tô Lâm affirmed that Vietnam has never had such fortune, potential, position and prestige as it does today. The country's overall achievements recorded great and important contributions from ethnic minority communities, the strength of the great national unity bloc, whose core are prestigious people in the localities. Village elders and chiefs, party cell secretaries and other community leaders, people with their prestige, experience and understanding have enthusiastically and responsibly participating in grassroots work, being a reliable core supporters and bridges between the authority and the people. They have overcome difficulties to support local authorities and people in socio-economic development, hunger eradication and poverty reduction, preserving and promoting cultural identity, building a community of solidarity, development and progress. The prestigious people have contributed greatly to national sovereignty protection and border security and order maintenance. The program is aimed to promptly honor, motivate and encourage prestigious people for their important contributions in all fields, especially in border protection. On the occasion of the 99th founding anniversary of the Vietnam Revolutionary Press Day on June the 14th in Hanoi, the Central Military Commission and the Ministry of National Defense held a meeting with news and press agencies. General Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense, chaired the meeting. Speaking at the event, the delegates highly praised the contributions of news and press agencies, including key contributions of the military press. The military press has become one of the bridges between the party and the people, and a sharp weapon to encourage the people to successfully implement the party's guidelines and resolutions, the state's policies and laws, contributing to well-performing the role of social criticism and fighting corruption, touting the image of the country and culture of Vietnam, and making friends and the international community better understand and support Vietnam at international forums. General Giang stressed that the Central Military Commission, the Ministry of National Defense, the Home Military always highly value the attention and coordination of the party's Central Committee's Commission for Information and Education, the Ministry of Information and Communications, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Vietnam Journalists Association, and other relevant agencies on timely disseminating the results of implementing military, national defense and defense diplomacy tasks, building the whole people defense disposition and the military in the new situation. General Giang hopes that press management agencies and key press agencies would continue to closely coordinate with the Ministry of National Defense to further foster dissemination work on military, national defense and defense diplomacy. The Ministry of National Defense continues to direct agencies and units in the Home Military to strengthen coordination and create the most favorable conditions for news agencies and press across the country to disseminate military, national defense and defense diplomacy tasks and activities to build a strong Vietnam People's Army. On June the 14th at the Military Science Academy, the Ministry of National Defense organized the first National Scientific Conference on Vietnam-Laos-Cambodia Unity, chaired by General Dr. Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense. Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army and Deputy Defense Minister, chaired the event. At the event, the participants analyzed and clarified the basic issues of theory and historical practice in the process of building, developing and fostering the solidarity among Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia in the 1913-1975 period, at the same time proposing practical solutions to strengthen solidarity, maintain traditional relations among the three countries, especially among the three militaries. In his concluding remarks at the workshop, General Cương suggested that the Project Management Board should consider the opinions of leaders, generals, experts and scientists to focus on analyzing and evaluating more deeply and comprehensively the position, role and foundation for the formation of the Vietnam-Laos-Cambodia relationship in history. On June the 14th in Hanoi, Japanese ambassador and defense attaché to Vietnam held a banquet in celebration of the 70th founding anniversary of the Japanese Self-Defense Forces, July the 1st, 1954. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Defense Minister, attended the event. Based on the joint vision statement on defense cooperation signed by the two defense ministers in 2018, the Vietnam-Japan defense ties have been flourishing, becoming an important pillar of comprehensive strategic partnership for peace and prosperity in Asia and the world. The mechanisms for defense dialogue and consultation have been maintained effectively. The two sides have been actively cooperating in the fields of military medicine, post-war consequences relief, and UN peacekeeping operations. On behalf of Ministry of National Defense of Vietnam, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến sent his wishes to the generals, officers, and soldiers of the Japanese Self-Defense Forces. He also expressed confidence that the forces would continue to develop and make worthy contributions to peace and stability in the region and the world. The Vietnamese-Chinese Young Officer Exchange is taking place from June the 14th to the 20th in Chuang Autonomous Region, Guangxi, and Beijing, China. The delegation of young Vietnamese People's Army officers is taking part in the first exchange event in Guangxi. The delegation learns about the Long Châu uprising while visiting the Memorial Hall. During a visit to the Memorial House of President Ho Chi Minh in Long Châu District, the Vietnamese officers explored several rare photographs, documents and relics about Uncle Ho's activities and Vietnamese revolutionary soldiers in China. Since 1926, Long Châu had been an important revolutionary base for Vietnam. President Ho Chi Minh and his associates, including Lê Hồng Phong, Trường Trinh, Hoàng Minh Thao, and Chu Văn Tấn, once worked here. Coming up next, Vietnam calls for UNCTAD's continued support for developing countries. A visually impaired youngster heals through music. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Nguyễn Minh Hằng attended the Global Leaders Forum held in Geneva, Switzerland on June the 12th to the 13th on the occasion of the UNCTAD's 60th anniversary. Deputy Minister Nguyễn Minh Hằng delivered her speeches at two discussion sessions on promoting sustainable investment capital flows, improving the efficiency of global supply chains, and preparing for the future economy, options and actions. She also proposed 5 orientations for UNCTAD to uphold its role in supporting developing countries in the coming time, as well as sharing economic development achievements, policies and orientations, policies of investment and international integration of Vietnam. The Vietnamese diplomat thanked the UNCTAD for its assistance to Vietnam over the past time and expressed her hope that the agency will accompany Vietnam's development path in the future. Vietnam committed to supporting the UNCTAD's cooperation targets and orientations. Within the framework of the 34th meeting of states parties to the 1982 UNCLOS held in New York from June the 10th to the 14th, Vietnam chaired an international seminar on sea level rise in the Pacific and announced Vietnam's candidate to the position of judge of the International Tribunal of the Law of the Sea for the 2026-2035 tenure. Associate Professor Dr. Nguyễn Thị Lan Anh, Director General of the AC Institute under the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam. The seminar drew about 100 delegates and experts from more than 60 countries, as well as scholars and representatives from a number of UN agencies. Addressing the seminar, Deputy Minister Nguyễn Minh Vũ highlighted the historical significance of 1982 UNCLOS to the development of international law. Vietnam affirmed to continue to work with the 115 members of the group of friends in implementing and protecting the universality of the 1982 UNCLOS. At the seminar, Vietnamese legal experts shared their assessment from the perspective of Vietnam, a coastal country most affected by climate change, including the risk of sea level rise. They stressed the need to continue to comply with and fully implement the provisions of the 1982 UNCLOS in the process of resolving emerging challenges in current sea, while calling for support to the preservation of baselines, boundaries of maritime zones established from baselines and maritime delimitation results agreed by countries through negotiations or established by decisions of international judicial agencies in order to maintain stability and legal order at sea. It is said that the eye is the jewel of the body, which implies the importance of vision. However, many less fortunate individuals unable to see the light have reason above their circumstances to affirm their self-worth. This is the story of Nguyễn Đức Thiện, a young man who transcended himself through the path of conquering music, accompanying those who share similar fates, shaping a journey where music heals the wounds. He is also one of the 35 examples of the program Shine Vietnamese Strength 2023.
This is a performance by a special band called New Sunlight. All members are visually impaired, yet they can play various musical instruments, performing professionally, surprising many people. From afar, I could hear the melodious music, but only when getting close, I realized that they were all visually impaired. I truly felt amazed by their talents. They've mastered difficult musical instruments, and their voices are truly wonderful. The band is indeed the result of over 2 years of dedication of this young man and his mentor, aiming to support visually impaired individuals to showcase their talents and passion for music. Since its establishment nearly a decade ago, the band has 20 members. The stage has helped them integrate, gain confidence, and even soothe the wounds of others. Whether we're disabled or not, regardless of our age or nationality, we are all connected by music. We hope that our efforts will help those in need, providing them with additional motivation. Along with the band, they also established a Dom Do shelter to support visually impaired children. And it's from here that the Tâm Việt Sầm Singing Club was established. This is where the light of music warms the soul and ignites passions for those less fortunate in life. Coming here brings me a lot of joy. It makes me much more confident and singing becomes less intimidating. Despite facing many difficulties, the young man always strives to learn more musical instruments. His band has won numerous awards and participated in ethnic music festival for visually impaired in Thailand. This serves as motivation for them to continue the journey of healing wounds through music.
This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.